In today's video, we're gonna talk about what Plarium needs to do to create a better competitive environment in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, we have quite a few different PvP game modes. I do want to focus on Hydra Clash today, guys. We have the arena modes, which Tag Team Arena has been like this for 3 years or so. They took zero feedback in consideration except the filters and how you can basically just make the presets for the teams. Then we have Live Arena, which is the newest edition. Boring, man. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's boring. I personally haven't done a fight in 3-4 weeks. Once you get Quintus, you don't really have an incentive to come and play the game mode. Yes, great haul, you're getting the medals for it, but you know what, you can live without it. And this chest right here gives tons of rare gear, not interested in it. And 5-star Chaos Sword, gold 3. There you go. That's what you're getting for playing Live Arena. So I do think they need to find a better solution for this. There's so many different options that they could implement just to make this game mode more interesting. We're not even talking about CVC because that's literally a dead game mode that just requires you to spend money, so that's not a real PvP whatsoever. I'm not saying that you don't need to spend money in the other ones, but at least you need to use your brain when you're playing the game with heroes, with teams. It's not like just buy books and use them and that's it. Hey, I'm the best in the clan. It's not like that, you know. But before we move over to talk about Hydra Clash, guys, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by INTOTHEAM. INTOTHEAM, it's a clothing brand focused on making high quality and comfortable clothes that elevate self-expression and sleek designs. From joggers to hoodies, from basic branded tees to graphic tees like this awesome t-shirt right here, or maybe you prefer this one. They have some very cool designs and love the vibrant colors. Or maybe you prefer something a bit more classic like this simple black hoodie that I've got right here. Top-notch quality and the material is super soft and stretchy for that perfect fit. Now guys, if you're looking to upgrade your look, head over to the link in the description down below. They have some awesome bundles on their website. Plus, if you are using my link, you get to save an additional 10%. Now, when we're talking about Hydra Clash, guys, there are two big issues. Number one is the matchmaking, which is completely busted, okay? Like, probably you've noticed on the thumbnail. Number two is having one team in the game that can out-damage any other team by 20, 30, and soon 40 times, okay? It's very, very unbalanced, and it's just not healthy for any game whatsoever. Usually when any game has this sort of issue, they're jumping in quick, rebalancing stuff, okay? And it's not the case this time around. And hear me out, I'm not here to complain because my clan is losing in this, okay? Because we're not losing by any means. I'm here to kind of like point these things out because there's been over 2 months, no changes, and I know a lot of you guys are completely ignoring this game mode. A lot of you guys don't even bother because it's such a broken system, you know? So I'm just trying to get it fixed, organized. I've talked about it quite a few times before in the past, but it just seems that you're talking with the wall, basically. So right here we have Male River. 35 billion damage on Nightmare. 35 billion, okay? And he was the record holder for around 1 day. Victor Test came in with almost 40 billion. 40 billion. An Acrisia team deals 1 billion at most. Okay, and that's with Mishinaki's passive being broken at the moment. 1 billion. Then you have this coming in with 40 billion. 35 billion. 32 billion right here. So this goes on and on and on and on, which is pretty damn crazy. And it's double corporate team. It's not even like you need Krisk or anything like that. Yes, double Yumeko will enable you to do this on Nightmare. You can do it with no Yumekos at all on Nightmare and still get 4, 5, 6 billion damage, which is pretty crazy anyway, you know. But it's harder to achieve, and this is hard to achieve too, don't get me wrong. Now, because this is in the game, a lot of clans are getting completely wrecked. It's enough to have one person in the clan to deal 10, 20, 15 billion damage to carry your entire clan. Without you having to move a finger, just do your auto key and you're gonna win number 1 in your group because somebody managed to carry your lazy ass, basically, you know? So that's one issue. Now, when we're talking about Hydra Clash matchmaking, guys, we are right here. Eternal Titans, 1 trillion points. 1 trillion points. That's more than double than any other clan in the game. And I'm not trying to boast or anything like that, but then if you're paying attention to the number 5, DH Elite, which I don't know who they are. I have nothing against them, but they are suffering here, okay? And this matchmaking is broken and it needs to be adjusted, because this is not the only clan out there that is getting unfair matchmaking every week in the Hydra Clash. They're actually the majority of the clans out there. So basically, 6 billion points. 6 billion, okay? Next to a trillion, next to 440 billion, next to 370 billion, next to 176 billion. So this is a very unfair matchmaking. Now, the way this is supposed to work, based on what Plarium mentioned, is that they were going to make an overall rating based on your last 4 matches performance, which is clearly not the case. Now we know that we have a 2-week protection to don't meet the exact same clans again. So I know that this was my very first group in the Hydra Clash. I think instead of a DH Elite, we had Gallifrey, and we had them for the very first 2 weeks, the beta and the actual release. And after that, every 3rd week, we're getting them again. I know that. And it might be a bit harder for Plarium to find another clan to chuck in our group with us. And they're just randomly putting other clans that they shouldn't be anywhere near us. Now, I really thought that they might be a top 15, top 20 clan. I don't really look at the leaderboards. Then when you check their clan, you see that they're literally at around top 100. Top 100. I don't know how they ended up with us in there, because it's so unfair for them. Like, if I would get this 1-2 times, I would be like, F this. I'd never want to see this game mode again in my life. And I know a lot of you guys are in this very particular situation. So I'm just hoping that Plarium will act on it and fix these issues. Now, how I mentioned, I don't think it's necessarily easy to fix it. What they should do is give rewards to every single clan in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even if you give more rewards to the top 3 clans, just give rewards to everyone so they don't feel completely left out from the entire game, because it's just sad, actually. It's unhealthy, okay? Let me just be honest. So we went in and wanted to reach the goal of 1 trillion points. 1, it looks cool. 2, just to show how broken this thing is. So if we're gonna head over back to my clan, you're gonna see on Nightmare we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 keys that are done with Corpulent Cadaver on Nightmare. Nightmare, I repeat that, okay? The lowest amount of damage on Nightmare is 7.8 billion damage. Now, when you are looking at the other teams, Saito has an insane account, insane gear, double Acrisia and Grazur, 771 million damage. Now, I'm very convinced that if Saito wants to, he can push this team to a trillion, okay? But it's 1 trillion versus the lowest that we have with Corpulent at 7.8 billion, which is crazy, right? There's no way anything can compete in the game. Now, even if they're changing the team, Stranda will come at the top, Acrisia will come at the top, so they do need to find some sort of solution, you know? If you're going on Brutal, again, you're going to see a lot of Corpulent keys here too. If you go on Hard, again, you're going to see a lot of Corpulent teams there too, and I'm going to add another one to it, you know, just to be even more. So basically, even if they're nerfing this team, which they shouldn't do right now because it's been over 2 months, they took no statement whatsoever on the team, and would be unfair for everyone who built it. I don't care personally. For me, I do content on the game, so it's not like I'm losing if I'm building a team like this, but a lot of you guys that invested in creating a team like this, and there are thousands of people with these teams now, will get a fat lip if they're completely killing it. So they need to find some sort of solution. For example, when you are doing this run, you're going to see that Corpulent Cadaver, unlike any other champion, has no limit whatsoever on the damage, ignores pretty much every Hydra mechanic, and no other champion in the game actually does that, you know? So I do think that maybe finding a balance of giving him a cap on the damage might be the best solution overall. Now, I'm not 100% sure what that percentage would be. 10% is for enemy max HP nukers. If you're gonna give him a 10%, I feel like he's gonna underperform a lot, and basically what's gonna happen is that you're just not going to be able to kill the heads anymore. You're not going to be able to rescue your champions when they get devoured, and this team will completely be nerfed with a 10%. But the way he deals damage, attacks one enemy, inflicts additional damage if this champion is under a shield buff. The damage is equal to 30% of the value of the shield. So you do not need crit rate, attack, crit damage, HP, defense, anything whatsoever. You can give him the worst gear that you have on your account, and he's still going to deal the exact same damage, okay? That's just to make that one thing clear. And how I mentioned, it's not easy to build this team. You need Brogni, you might need other champions to make it work. But that's not the point. The point is that this team out damages everything else in the game up to 40 times. So if we're gonna quickly have a look at the RSL leaderboards, if you haven't joined the Discord, guys, make sure you do it. But here everybody's kind of like posting what sort of damage they're doing. So right here we have Isaac, Hydra Heart, 5 billion damage. Then you have, not sure who this person is, 280 million damage with Acrisia and new team on Nightmare. Now, I can guarantee you this team can do 500 plus if you're working on it. Then we have non-Acrisia PR on Nightmare, 200 million with Marichka and Taras. Pretty interesting. Then you have Reddy right here, bringing in a triple Acrisia team with almost 1 billion damage on Nightmare, 920 million. Now, somebody else did it. We're going to check the actual records in a second. And then you just see these teams popping in. Again, Corpulent team. Then you go right here, and this is the one that I was looking for. Almost 1.1 billion damage. And this is Nut, Acrisia, Mishinaki, Cardiel, Tuhanorak, and Grazur. Nightmare key, okay? 1.1 billion, let's just call it. But then you see Mullet River coming in with 33 billion, with double Corpulent. Then you have Rats here with no Yumekos on Nightmare with Corpulent Cadaver at 5 billion. Not even Taras in there. Double Lanakis. Then, of course, you have the freaking ultimate final boss right here. And that's Mullet coming with 35 billion. But then Victor Tess was like, that's it. I had enough. I'm going to go sweat my palms and bring in a 40 billion key. 40 billion key, guys. Victor Tess, look at that. Just disgusting. Now, how can anybody compete with this sort of damage in a team, you know? So they definitely need to find a different solution to it. And I think I've mentioned it already, but Tranda will come at the top if this team is killed, because everybody's going to go and do normal and hard and get 2-3 billion damage. That needs to be fixed in a way as well. They need to find a balance for all these teams to kind of like be on an equal field in a way or another where they can compete with each other, you know? So not to be something that completely outshines the other team, because it's very, very unfair. Like, look at this. Just to point it out again, 1 trillion points. 1 trillion. Who can compete with 1 trillion points? There is no clan to compete with 1 trillion points, okay? And it's not boasting here. I'm just showing how broken this thing is in the game, okay? Now, we gave a lot of different feedback to Plarium on what they could do. How I mentioned, I don't think they are in an easy spot because they don't want to kill the team, especially now that a lot of people invested in it, but they do need to find a solution where they can keep the team at 1 to 2 billion damage maximum, you know, but they do need to find a way on how they can make it viable rather than capping the turn limit, which is not a solution, rather than stop giving points after a certain milestone was reached, because everybody's going to do that, and then what? Every clan is going to be at the same level in terms of points. That's not a solution either, because I've heard a lot of people saying this too, you know? But they need to kind of like find a way on how they can balance all the teams, not just nerf something or buff something, because it's not the right way to do it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any sort of different ideas that could potentially help to fix the issues with the matchmaking, fix the issues with the teams, and of course the way the damage is just getting out of control. And yeah, I do think they should add rewards to all the 5 teams to create more incentive for players to at least reach the milestone of getting a chest. But that was all for the video. Appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.